Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Spy Family, Season 3.
Yep, Spy Family, Season 3, Episode 12. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. I have a seriously itchy nose, but that's nothing new for me, because I'm Allergy Man. But, welcome back to the dojo. And, yeah, we're doing spy stuff. Like that right there. You guys see that spy stuff going on right there? Put on that mustache? On that goatee? That is serious spycraft right there. So all of you who said there wasn't enough spy stuff going on, enough said. But in all seriousness, yeah, there's a bunch of spy stuff going on. It's pretty cool. This is probably going to be the last arc of the season. Obviously, we've got 2 episodes left. We've been waiting on dubs, that kind of thing. The last episode has been dubbed in French only. So unless you parlez français, we're going to wait till next week probably. But we're still waiting on dubs for the next set of shows anyway. And we have a couple other things that we're going to put out, like our year interview stuff and has been and whatnot that we get to still. But it'll happen. So there'll be stuff in the schedule for you guys on YouTube. And for Patreon, we just got to wait for the timer reactions. At some point this year, we might have like some like random Patreon exclusive content if that becomes a thing. But you know, I'd rather have you know, actual like a reasonable amount of members on Patreon before I start doing any kind of Patreon exclusive anything. So for right now, it's just kind of there for to bridge the like difference of having to have 2 episodes of 2 like videos a day come out on YouTube, that kind of thing. So you know, it is what it is. We'll explain it like better in our like reintroduction to the channel thing that we're gonna do. But as for Spy Family, cool spy stuff is going on, and the colors of gems and pins matter. So suck on that, nerds. The mole was captured. Spy intrigue is happening. It's gonna be a whole thing, I'm sure. So this is what people have been asking for, and I'll save my rant about the other stuff till the end of the season next week. We did touch on it a little bit last week, which it's just like, you gotta give Lloyd, in short, you gotta give Lloyd time to form bonds to Anya and Yor, otherwise he would just bail.
Yeah.
So,
and once again, we need to either need to progress the family dynamic significantly further, or we need to push the goalpost back beyond just Desmond.
Yeah. Which, it's kind of hard to push the goalpost back past a former prime minister.
Yeah.
So, that's like jumping the shark right there almost when it comes to preventing a war.
like the only real candidate we have beyond for like a potential like goal beyond Desmond would be through the garden.
Right.
Whatever they're doing.
Yeah. So, either way, all that stuff going on. I'm excited for these last couple episodes of Spy Shenanigans, whatever happens with Lloyd here, all the stuff going on. The stuff with Yuri, obviously, it'll probably come to a head here, well, whatever's going on with it. So it should be fun. So let's push some buttons and get going. So people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube, we'll see you on the other side for the discussion and review. And if you're looking for the opposite of what you're looking for right now, it is where it needs to be. It's either on Patreon or YouTube, and the links are everywhere that you need to get them. So watch where you want, however you want, where you want, on the bathroom, doesn't matter. We're there if you want it. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. There you guys have it. Full on spy stuff, the episode. I think it was pretty good for spy related stuff. Like I said, it felt like a John Wick sequence. So very solid. Scratch the itch of the people that were looking for spy stuff and all this kind of thing. Yuri started it off pretty much after all the stuff that went on with Twilight, you know, getting away from the rest of the state security. Was imagine knowing your own footprint just offhand. That's impressive, especially because this is his footprint, but you also have to know the pattern on the bottom of your shoes. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you have, say, like several pair of shoes, you know, anywhere between 3 to 5 pair of shoes, whatever you're doing, unless you literally have the same pair of shoes for everything, you know, then the pattern on the bottom is going to be different. Like if you have like some work boots, it's going to be different than like your tennis shoes or like your slip-ons or whatever. You know what I mean? So just being that hyper conscious of something is very impressive.
Well, we've already known that like Yuri is pretty damn observant about things. He's just a bit of a dork, so he doesn't always come to the right conclusion after observing things,
Right. And
making such observations.
went full dork mode there at the end with, not, just like, why did he not kill me? Like, well, while it is technically, spycraft and all that stuff, I'd wager to say that the West probably would have no reason to kill just some random state security officer. You know what I mean? It's one thing if they like took out Wheeler, but if they start killing West like government officials, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Or government officers, you know what I mean? So that'd be a bad look, because then they would just kind of like assume like, oh, the West is openly starting to kill our officers and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So they probably want to avoid unnecessary death. It's one thing to take out a double agent like Mole situation. That is what it is.
Like Wheeler, technically, as far as anyone is concerned, is a member of the West, so them killing him off wouldn't be that suspicious.
Yeah. So that is what it is, but killing anybody else is probably a big no-no. Like when Lloyd got out of the situation here at the beginning of the episode, he could have probably taken out a few of them to lessen the amount of people like pursuing him. You know what I mean? He could have probably taken a few out here just like offhandedly, but that's not the goal here. You know what I mean? So he's trying to prevent war. So you don't prevent war by openly killing a bunch of the, maybe not the opposition, but the other side's officers and just people in general. You know what I mean? So
one thing that this whole situation does bring up, though, is as we found out that this was apparently the plan, was for
Lloyd to be a big-ass distraction while the others find Wheeler.
Yeah, Lloyd to show up here to the meeting as a distraction. But that also means that chances are the mole that they caught wasn't actually the real mole.
Yeah.
That they just basically they managed to throw a different agent under the bus, basically.
Right. So some random poor dude in the East over here is just totally shitting his pants right now, and it's not actually him. Though, to be fair, didn't we get his internal monologue last time, and it was actually the wise agent?
No, we didn't get any internal monologue. We just got him
his internal monologue was just talking about what he needed to do, what he was going to go about his actual job. That's what his internal monologue was, right?
All we heard from him was just the fact that he had to go apparently sort some confidential files. The officer guy confronts him and he's like, oh, well, why don't we get a bite to eat? And then the officer guy is like, oh, so this information got leaked and you're the only person who had this information. So you're the mole. You're coming with me.
Right. Which, again, we talked about that last week where they were, feeding information in several different directions to try to find the mole. Now, if you get countered in this case, which is what it seems like it was, Wise purposely did the wrong thing so that he would be the distraction. That poor guy.
Which we saw later on with the Gascon, not Gascoigne.
Yeah.
Disguise. They knew that the actual color was red and black, not green and yellow.
Yep. So that poor man, he's gonna have a really rough time, and he's not the mole. So the spycraft is really that next level, because thinking about it now, it's his internal monologue wasn't that's a good way to look at it, is his internal monologue was, while it sounded suspicious because they were talking about the mole, it was just him saying oh, I gotta go do this thing and then that thing and then do it's just normal at your job thoughts, you know what I mean? So based on the information, he was the one holding the bag, unfortunately, you know what I mean, because he was a potential mole candidate by the higher ups in the brass. So unfortunately, he eats it while the wise guy is well, that worked out wherever they are. So that guy's gonna unfortunately have a really rough go of it, because the major is really scary when he drops his aviators. Then the mutton chops are just menacing and not fun. So yes, this was very impressive across the board for spy related stuff. That whole line of like there at the end with like Yuri, like, I can't believe I got punched by a guy wearing my own face. They squeaked in the comedy, obviously. Yuri's just like insane level of just stamina and resiliency. In case anybody forgot, do you remember they had to tie him to a big ass pole to get him to stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, his physicality is superhuman. The problem with why he can't really beat most of the other characters at the moment is just experience.
Yep.
Because he's only been at this for like a couple of years and doesn't have nearly as much experience and training that the others all do.
Right. It's kind of like one of those, you have like raw potential and power, but you don't have technique. So that's where Yuri's at right now.
Yeah, once again, you can have all the freaking strength of the world, but it doesn't matter if you can't hit the opponent.
Right. So this whole sequence was what it was. You know, we talked about this before. And again, we can point out here, they know, because as you can see on his tie right there, it's the red gem. So they knew.
Yeah.
If they didn't know, and that was actually their mole, it would have been a yellow gem.
Yeah, he would have. The Gascon disguise would have had yellow and green if they didn't know what the actual color was.
Yep. So that was
because this disguise was prepared in advance. It wasn't like a thing of like they managed to throw this disguise together after seeing Gascon show up with the red and black tie.
Right. So that is very cool attention to detail, and I'm glad we caught it. So because I noticed it immediately, I was like, hey, he has the red gem. You know what I mean? So that's very cool that in this case, Wise won the information war while we thought they didn't, but when you get the full end of the story, like this kind of information right here, they knew. So
yeah, we
got very cool spy stuff.
Yeah, we got the freaking secret police side of things last time, where they thought they got one over on Wise, but then we get over to this side. It's go over to the Wise side on this episode, and it shows that like no, it was Twilight showing up to the friggin' showing up at the rendezvous point with the wrong tie was part of the plan.
Yep. So either way, solid amount of spy stuff, like these kinds of situations. Again, some of the like the superhuman feats of like being able to see stuff from far away. Now, to be fair, Fiona did have a pair of binoculars.
Yeah,
okay.
Fiona had binoculars, and he didn't really see Fiona either. It was just a thing of he just had a danger sense of, I think I've been found out. I'm just going to play it safe.
Right. So this wasn't like the insane feat of vision that Yor showed off in the movie, where she saw Lloyd like 15 blocks away through like 18 things in a dark alley. You know what I mean? That was different. So just saying, this wasn't some kind of crazy feat of strength. Like, oh, she could see through his sunglasses. She had binoculars, so totally feasible thing to pull off when she's like within like a block and a half of him. You know what I mean? Totally reasonable. What Yor pulled off, unreasonable. So either way, the one thing that I will say about like the whole file situation here is I didn't say it during the episode, but like just that kind of whole situation is like I would kind of could see like playing the game of leaving the files at the hotel kind of situation. You know what I mean? And what the guy took here might have not been the actual files, and he just kind of like quickly looked at them, and he didn't like really wasn't able to like scrutinize and verify that those were the correct things. Like maybe they just kind of like offhandedly looked like the files, that kind of thing.
Well, the reason why Fiona calls him out on it initially, as it probably not being the case, is because they're pretty damn sure he never went to the hotel in the first place.
Yeah.
Because they had the whole thing under lock.
Right. I'm just talking about like dead drops in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
well, once again, like the whole thing, like she's most concerned at this point with capturing him because, once again, she's also reasonably sure that he has the files memorized. So even if they got the files themselves, if he makes it away, chances are he could still just give them the information off of memory.
Right. So either way, very impressive sequence across the board. We got that very cool knife straight into the gun barrel moment. Underrated sequence right there. That was insane precision. insane.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, from everything we've gotten on this guy, he is supposed to be a really high tier spy himself. Like, not necessarily on in par exactly with Twilight, but like he's still up there.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, let's not forget why he was able to beat Lloyd here was Lloyd points out he'd been shot. He's also exhausted.
Yeah, he already fought off all of the other agents and then had his one-on-one versus Yuri where he got shot.
Yeah.
And then he's also been running this whole time.
Yeah. So 15 minutes, mind you, of probably straight running. So again, that's going to take a toll on anybody, especially when you're losing blood technically. So even if it's not as bad Wheeler, if you tourniquet it, but still.
And then Wheeler also got the opening shot on him.
Yeah. Which, to the gut, you lose all the wind in your body, generally. So that's already bad for you. So, as we saw here, though, in off-cam, Twilight got some solid hits in anyway.
Yeah.
So, that was what it was. But, we have... We'll mention this because we're on it. It definitely, we mentioned at the end of the reaction, it feels like Chloe's one of those characters that's probably more prevalent in the source material, and this is the first time we've seen her in the show, so that's probably something that we could check out. But she definitely has that like vibe of a character that they probably haven't, for whatever reason, haven't put in the show for whatever reason, and maybe now she's gonna be a thing. You know what I mean? Because this doesn't feel like something that was like super contrived or like out of left field. You know what I mean? It feels like these characters know each other. You know what I mean? We all we've really gotten on the Yuri side, besides the Major, is the lieutenant guy here. He's the guy that we've seen the most in the secret police, besides Yuri. So we'll just I'm just kind of assuming that Chloe is that character that was skipped for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how much of this was necessarily skipped, but apparently Chloe is like one of Yuri's college friends, and she's technically his superior officer. Like, out of this group, she's actually the highest ranked in the group, even though she doesn't really act like it. But yeah, apparently they are quite close, and like I said, they're college friends, so they've known each other for like years prior to this.
Got it. Yeah, that's just what we were thinking as the episode was going on. It's like, this feels like a character that just was in source material, but definitely not shown yet.
Like I said, I remember hearing something about them skipping some content with like one of the characters around Yuri, and I was just looking it up, and like they didn't skip a lot, but they did like skip her initial introduction and just kind of threw her in this episode.
Right.
But yeah, apparently like
maybe not a like a Negretto situation, obviously.
Oh yeah, Negretto was like one of the most egregious cases of a skipped character.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like she, from the sounds of it, they didn't skip a lot with her, but they did skip some of the stuff with her, like initial introduction.
Yep. So either way, solid sequence across the board, and as we can see here, we finished the episode with a with a case of hysterical Fiona strength, and she gave the Gachi Akuta characters a run for their money with the face she was putting on here.
Yeah.
Now we talked about it a little bit at the end of the reaction, but obviously it bears re-mentioning here. Obviously, is well, two things. You can know something is coming, but that doesn't mean you can stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've talked about this with a little of the sports discussions that I talked about. Like yesterday, the Rams won their playoff game. Super excited about that. And, you know, like whenever I have discussions about stuff like that, like I was talking to my mom about the game we were watching together, and it's just like, they just need to throw to Puka Nacua because he's their best player. And even if they know that they're throwing it to him, they still have to stop the man. You know what I mean? You can know what's coming. You still have to be able to do something about it. Whether it's stopping Nacua, stopping LeBron, stopping Wayne Gretzky, stopping Tom Brady, doesn't matter what it is. In the case of Fiona, in this case, you still have to dodge the punch or be able to block it in this case. She had the hysterical strength, meaning I forget what part of your brain that does it, but it's the limiter that prevents you from pushing your body past the limit where, in this case, you saw that she completely shattered her arm from,
Your
fist to shoulder.
I don't remember the exact term for it, but yes, your mind has a limit. It puts a natural limiter on what you can do with your body to prevent self-harm. Like, anytime you try to do something, it's significantly harder to do it if it would actually it would actually like deliberately cause yourself harm, because your mind has a certain switch in it that just says, no, you're not allowed to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But in cases like this, where you go hysterical, you surpass that limiter, because that limiter either just doesn't turn on in the first place because you're not in your right mind, or you just don't give a fuck to such an extent that you just kind of go right through it. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Which people can bypass the limiter even without being in a hysterical state.
Yep.
Like,
you can train to do that, like power lifters and stuff like that have talked about how they like get into that state, like any kind of like strongman competitions, those kinds of things, like Olympic athletes, what have you. It could be anything.
Athletes and soldiers and stuff like that, it's pretty common that they will train themselves to be able to, at least to temporarily be able to bypass their own limiters. Plus then, like, once again, there's people will still self-harm sometimes if they're in the right mental state, or a bad mental state anyway. Like, there are a lot of ways to bypass it, but it is still a thing that it requires a conscious, serious amount of willpower in order to actually deliberately inflict self-harm.
Right.
And that's what any kind of thing like this is. It's you're pushing yourself to the point of, I don't care if I'm injuring myself, I'm injuring the other person more.
Right. And as we can see, to be fair, Wheeler was reasonably banged up from fighting Lloyd, but once again, we've seen the kind of crazy stuff that Fiona was capable of, like training in the mountains and in the swamps of wherever the hell they are, dealing with alligators and whatnot. So her, even if Wheeler wasn't like banged up, I still think this one-shots him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he discredits Fiona's like physical abilities, and she like even says that like under normal circumstances she probably wouldn't be able to beat him. But he also, I do think, underestimates her physicality, because like, while she isn't your level, she is still like pretty damn close behind Twilight in physical abilities.
Yeah.
Once again, he did train her.
Right.
And then in this case, she goes full hysterical strength mode and hits him with like 150% strength.
Right. And keep in mind, this was after she had the revelation of, I'd be cool, dying in his arms, whatever. And then she went full Kaylee from Firefly and was just like, no, screw that, I'm going to live. So she already had that, like, she's already talked herself out of the mindset of, it's okay if I die here. No, it's not okay if I die here, and it's certainly not okay if he dies, obviously. So it's a double whammy. You know what I mean? She already psyched herself up to keep living, and then got the hysterical strength. You know what I mean? So that's just like the double whammy of Wheeler is, as we can see here, and he's gone. He is totally over there. And that is not the classic anime falling down and your legs are up in the air. That is, you got punched halfway across the room. So, that was a pretty serious business. But, even with all the serious spy stuff, they managed to weave in some semblance of comedy. Like, the dude that put on the goatee was just like losing his mind, like overthinking everything. That was pretty underrated comedy, and I appreciated it for what it was. Just the why is nothing happening? This is bullshit.
Like that's always one of the like the biggest uh-ohs in any sort of spy or horror situation is, oh god, I can't see anything happening.
Yeah.
Because then it's you know, it's not that you can't, it's not that nothing's happening. It's just that whatever's going on, you can't figure it out, and you're not aware of it.
Yep. And that is the genuine fear of the unknown right there, is like, oh shit. Just like that oh shit moment of, I got nothing. This is horrendous. This is terrible.
Like, he knows Wheeler is following him. There's no way he's not following him. But no matter what he does, he can't find Wheeler.
Yep.
So he knows he's walking right into a very bad situation.
Right. So solid episode across the board. Gotta appreciate it. Got all spy stuff. Got the woven comedy in there, that kind of thing. The spycraft again was great. Yeah, we ended on a massive punch straight to the face. You can think you got your opponent completely figured out and you can beat him. Well, it's all talk until you get punched in the face. You know what I mean? you know you're about to get punched in the face, but if you can't stop it, then it's pretty irrelevant. So you can have the enemy's entire playbook or the opposition's entire playbook, but you still got to stop them. You know what I mean? You still got to execute. So
yeah, that's once again, that's something that a lot of people freaking tend to overvalue, is that idea of like spidey sense or just premonition powers of like knowing something's going to happen a couple of seconds ahead of time.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you know something's coming ahead of time if you can't do anything about it. Like, that's a big example of a lot of mythology, is like prophecies showing up and people knowing what's going to happen years ahead of time and still not being able to prevent it.
Yep. So either way, solid episode. Looking forward to seeing how it wraps up next week. I'm sure there'll be some, madness fallout with Wise, and then I'm sure there'll be some kind of madness with Yor, because we had that whole we had the stereotypical somebody's talking about me sneeze in Gachikuta with Engine. We had the stereotypical
something bad happened to someone I know.
Yeah,
so
something bad.
broke.
Yes, something bad happened to something I know. So in this case, Yor broke the plate, and then also cut her finger. So that's like the double whammy of something bad happening. So we got a lot of those tropes going on this week too, along with, once again, the stuff we watched just being connected by random stuff. We had these things, and then we had two guys getting kicked in the nuts today. You know what I mean? So maybe Lloyd needs the orange afro. I don't know. Once again, if you get that reference, bravo. So yeah, just saying. It's crazy how this crap keeps lining up for us, and it's crazy. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the craziness and the chaos of the world. So either way, that's all I got for this week. I'm enjoying it. It'll be interesting to see how they wrap up the season here next time, and whether or not we get anything like cliffhangery or anything like that, or if we'll just end it on a crazy Bond being fluffy note. So, you got anything else, Age?
And we'll probably see more of Chloe and Yuri's stuff going forward. He'll probably be more of a bit more of an actual mainstay character going forward, whereas he's been kind of a side character for most of this.
Right.
It seems like we're getting more into the actual family dynamics.
Yep.
And Yuri's involved in the family dynamics because, once again, he's Yor's brother.
Yep. So, anyway, that's all we got. So I'm gonna go wash my nose out or something, because I've been holding back itching my nose for the last 20 minutes, and I'm losing it, you guys. So everybody, people of YouTube, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us here in the dojo from our anime night in the dojo. And this was Spy Family Season 3, Episode 12. We got one more to go. This one goes to 13. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done next week, and then the week after we'll be able to move on to the next set of shows, and the dubs will be good, and we'll be able to move on to this next year of stuff. So that's exciting. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.